Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Master of the Mat. I am your host, Anthony Origin Bryant. Let me send these links out real quick so we can get started. Give me 1 second, people. I'm sending this link out as we speak. Give me one moment. I got to get up, mute TV. I didn't know it was that loud. Yeesh. My TV, too. So give me one moment while I go turn this down. Enjoy Ahmed Johnson's theme music. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Cut this music off. You heard the sounds of Ahmed Johnson theme music, former WWF Intercontinental Champion, former Kuwait World Heavyweight Champion, former member of the Nation and Domination. He absolutely sucked. One of the reasons Vince McMahon gave him a push because he liked him. He couldn't beat Ron Simmons to save his life. He got destroyed by every member of the Nation. And for some reason, every time he wrestled, he had a wedgie. And that was disturbing. That was just absolutely disturbing. Anyway, welcome to another edition of the Master of the Map. I would have went live yesterday, but I was running errands and conflict with schedule conflictions. And normally I come on Sunday, but I was in North Carolina enjoying myself. Now here it is Tuesday, and I am doing Master of the Mat. And we're about to get into this show. And I want to talk to you about a couple of things today. One of the things being Tony Khan's obsession with beating WWE. And I feel like his obsession is just stupidity on top of stupidity. A couple of weeks ago, he went head-to-head with WWE when AEW versus NXT, and they lost bad. When I mean bad, they lost bad, okay? And he went on an absolute rant and talked about, well, they only won because they had Undertaker, LA Knight, John Cena, Paul Heyman, guys from the main roster who showed up on NXT who never showed up on NXT before. That may be true, but you up against NXT. And you up against, when I mean NXT, you up against guys like Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, the Mad Dragon, Eli Dragunov. You're up against Wesley. And without Cena, without LA Knight, without The Undertaker, you'd have got your head busted in the first place because those guys over there, they have stepped it up so much on NXT. It's absolutely amazing. It's amazing how good NXT really is. Carmelo Hayes, this guy came in and he just completely changed the game. You're talking about a guy, he's talking about something he shoots and he don't miss. Well, he don't miss at all. He was the man when he beat Braun Breaker and stand and delivered for the NXT championship. That boy was awesome. And you're talking about another guy that's been awesome. Wesley is the longest reigning North American champion before he was robbed by Dominic Mysterio. And you got the current the former tag team champions, the Tony D, whatever his name is, and Stacks, who just lost to Chase U. And I'm telling you, NXT has stepped it up a notch. They have stepped it up, and stepped it up. Then you had over there on AEW, you gave Orange Cassidy back the International Championship. Actually, that was only the match. To be honest with you, that was the only match worth watching. Was Orange Cassidy versus John Moxley when he gave John Moxley that concussion. No, that wasn't Orange Cassidy. That was Ray Phoenix. I'm sorry, Ray Phoenix and Orange Cassidy, but that was the only match worth watching because, to be honest with you, I watch AEW and I'm so sick of this love triangle between MJF, Adam Cole, Roger Strong, the Kingdom. I'm so sick of all of this. If Adam Cole's going to turn on MJF, just make him turn on MJF. Because first of all, the storyline sucks. Second of all, the storyline sucks. And third of all, storyline sucks. Okay? Whoever's your head right over there, fire him, get somebody else, bring him on. I mean, I'm loving what WWE's doing with this Bloodline Judgment Day thing. I'm loving how they cross motion because I think Jimmy Uso is going to turn and he's going to rejoin the Bloodline. They got Jay on They got Jay on Raw. I think he's going to turn on everybody and rejoin the Bloodline. Then you got Jimmy on SmackDown acting like a complete goof. You got Solo so serious. And you got Roman Reigns walking around with Paul Heyman, think he's untouchable. Then over on SmackDown, you got Rhea Ripley, who thinks she's the head of Judgment Day, along with Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. And you got J.D. McConaughey, and a.k.a. Jordan Devlin, in that group, and he don't know where he fit in at. And you got Sami Zayn all alone since Kevin Owens on SmackDown. And then you got and Nia Jax, who since becoming back, has injured the whole Dawn Women's division. Is mayhem on Raw, is mayhem on NXT, and even more crazy on SmackDown. Because now you got the women's division. You got Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Io Shirai. You got them three over on SmackDown tearing it up. You got Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax. What's the woman name? Shayna Baszler over on Raw, tearing it up, and you got both women's division kicking tail right now. Then you got the U.S. champ on Raw, and the Intercontinental champ Gunther, who can't be beat, who's just been dominating as of late. Then you got the return of DIY last night, and this coming Thursday, you got LA Knight against Solo Sikoa to set up his match with Roman Reigns, which we all know going to be the outcome of that. And it's mayhem, but you know what? Mayhem makes good TV. Eric Bischoff said it best. If you can't tell, if the internet can't tell what's going on, you got good TV. Last night was perhaps the best Raw I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I give Chelsea Green, I give Piper Nevins the respect because they came out dressed as the Hart Foundation. And the sad part about it, Piper Nevins actually looked like Jim Neidhart. That was scary. A little bit too scary. R.I.P. Jim Neidhart, but that was real scary. And they came out to the Hart Foundation theme music. I mean, she actually beat Natalya. Now, that was impressive in herself, but the whole card was worth watching. Now, AEW Collision. The best match in that card was Kenny Omega, MJF. They beat the crap out of each other. Now, I mean, when I tell you they went out there and they just tore each other up, they beat the crap out of each other. Do I think MJF should have won? No, I do not. I think Kenny Omega should have won, but I'm not writing for AEW. If I would have wrote it as Kenny Omega versus Jay White. But no, Tony Khan is in love with MJF. I'm trying to figure out what have MJF done to make him a viable champion. What have MJF done to make him a viable or to hold that championship longer than anybody? Okay, he had a couple good matches with Adam Cole. He had the Fatal 4-Way was decent. Since then, who has he fought? And then they constantly take shots at WWE. And if you look at AEW roster, about 90% of it is WWE. And in my opinion, again, my opinion only, AEW dropped the ball when they first came out. Because in my opinion, you're going to make a ex-WWE star your first world champion. How about doing something special? How about making Hangman Adam Page your first world champion? Oh, no, Hangman's not a bigger star than Chris Jericho. Well, duh. Chris Jericho's only been wrestling for so many years. He wrestled in CMLA, Mexico, New Japan, WCW, ECW, WWE. So he's wrestled all over the place. Hangman Page got a start in Ring of Honor Wrestling, and I'm going to get to that later in a few minutes about Ring of Honor Wrestling. Made his name in Ring of Honor Wrestling. But no. Darn kids in the hallway. But no. You give the belt to Chris Jericho. Nothing against Chris Jericho. But if you want to make yourself a viable threat to WWE, how about a fresh face? How about give the championship to Adam Page? How about make Adam Page go on a monster run? You didn't do that. What you did was you gave the world championship to Chris Jericho. And who did he drop it to? Another ex-WWE champion, Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Jon Moxley. He dropped the belt to Kenny Omega. Was it Omega? Yeah, I'm saying it was Omega. He dropped the belt to Omega. Omega dropped the belt to Hangman. And who did Hangman drop the belt to? CM Punk. So, you gave the championship. The first 4 championships, 3 of those guys are former WWE champion. Jericho, Moxley, Punk. One of those guys, former New Japan World Champion, Kenny Omega. The other guy who held the championship, his first World Championship forever, Adam Page. Why? Because Tony Khan does not know what he's doing. You're putting guys who's in main event positions, okay? And you're sleeping on guys. Tony Khan has been sleeping on Neville since he signed with the company. Yeah, you gave him the Trios Championship a couple times. You made him the first ever international champion. Man, if you really know who Neville, a.k.a. Pac, was, you make this guy a viable contender for your world championship, Tony. This guy is a freaking beast. Neville ran through every cruiserweight. He ran through every freaking cruiserweight like salt through a wooden woman. The only reason he lost to that jack off, what's that jerk off name? Not important. The only reason he lost to him because he kicked him in the ground and kicked him low blow. But no, Tony Khan wants to make him, I'm going to make him my trio champion. I'm going to make him my first international champion. And international championship, that belt looks nice, don't get me wrong, but it looks like a championship I seen in another company. Thank you. One of the best cruiserweights in history. Tony Khan, sleeping on him. Then you want to talk about another guy. Then Ring of Honor went up for sale early part of this year. The 3 people, actually, let's keep it real with you. The 2 people that was going to buy Ring of Honor, Tony Khan Vince McMahon. The only reason Tony Khan beat Vince McMahon out in the bid because he called Daddy Dearest to help buy Ring of Honor. And what does he do to Ring of Honor? He snatches Ring of Honor off TV and puts them on the internet. On the freaking internet. Now, then you sign former NXT Women's Champion Amber Moon, who is the first woman to hold the NXT Championship and the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, okay? You make her your Ring of Honor Women's Champion, the longest Ring of Honor Women's Champion ever, and you only put her on TV 4 times, and she wins one of those 4 times on your TV show. Okay? Then you got legendary tag teams like the Hardy Boys, the greatest tag team of all time. They did, but I'm gonna get to that later. I definitely got something to say about her. They slept on her hard. You got the Hardy Boys, former WCW, former Ring of Honor, former Impact. Okay? Former WWE, WWF Tag Team Champion. The Hardy Boys are perhaps the greatest tag team alive next to the Dudley Boys. Bubba and Devon have held every stinking tag team championship with the exception of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. Alive. But you got the Hardy Boys, and you're not doing nothing with them because Jeff Hardy got in the DUI. You know how many times Jeff Hardy had a DUI in WWE? Matter of fact, you know how many times Jimmy Uso got a DUI in WWE and they did nothing? I can count on one hand how many times he got in trouble. He didn't. But you want an example of him because he's a former ex-WWE champion. Dude. And then you make him, then when he come back, you give him one win and you make him lose to Jeff Jarrett, who's past his prime, who don't know when to retire. And I'm a huge Jeff Jarrett fan, but Jeff, time to hang him up. Okay? Then you got guys over there like Cesaro, who WWE slept on. You got Daniel Bryan over there, who WWE slept on, even though they gave him the World Championship. They made him the World Heavyweight Champion, the WWE Championship, but they slept on him hard. Okay? Then you got William, I can't pronounce that guy's name. You got him over there in Ring of Honor. I mean, with Moxley, with Ambrose, and all that. You got him over there. You name him the Blackpool Combat Club, but here's the problem with that. The man who's actually from Blackpool, the guy who started that group, William Regal, he's no longer with the company. He's back with WWE. So don't you think you should change the name from the Blackpool Combat Club to just the Combat Club? Then you got Nick and Mac Jackson, the Young Bucks, perhaps the greatest tag team of this generation. Then you got guys, you're not doing nothing with anything, but you want to go on Twitter. And you still want to complain about what WWE cheated in the ratings war. I didn't know there was rules in the ratings war. I didn't hear Vince McMahon complain about how for 84 weeks, Monday Nitro kicked the crap out of WWE. And that war was interesting in watching. You know why? Because you never knew who was going to show up on Nitro. Robinson Rick Rude made history. The only man to be on Monday Night Raw and Monday Nitro at the same time. I know some of you said, how is that possible? I'm going to tell you how it's possible. Monday Night Raw was pre-taped. Monday Nitro was live. So, see? I'll get to that in a few minutes. I'll be right back. This is how it was done. Rick Rude made appearance because the founding members of D Generation X are as follow: Shawn Michaels, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Robinson Rick Rude, and Chyna was the 4 founding members of DX. At the time, Rick Rude made appearance on Monday Night Raw. Now, Rude contract expired 2 days before that aired. Okay? That during the shooting of that, Rick Rude was under contract with WWF. His contract expired 2 days before it aired. Eric Bischoff, off like the vulture he was, took prime example of it. Swooped in, signed Rick Rude to a contract in WCW, signed him in WCW. Hold on, y'all. Signed him to WCW. Came out as a member of the NWO. It wouldn't have worked no other way if you didn't put him in the NWO. He came out with a guy he rivalry with in WWE for so long in Hulk Hogan, and he came out to reunite with guys like Scott Norton, Kurt Hennig, who he went to school with. Now, the man doing commentating, Bobby the Brain Heenan, managed both men, Rude and Hennig. The real reason Rick Rude went to WCW because of Bobby Heenan. Kurt Hennig. Those are two reasons why, but I'm going to get to that in another show. The point I'm making is this. Eric Bischoff kicked the crap out of Vince McMahon for 84 weeks. You know what killed that momentum? Tony Schiavone, the night Mick Foley became WWF champion. When he came out of his mouth, and I quote, Mick Foley, who wrestled here once before as Cactus Jack, is going to win their world champion. That's going to put some butts in the seats. And they took the remote control and they turned the channel. They left. They turned from WCW to WWF. The only reason AEW is unmatched on Wednesday night because WWE does not have any programming on Wednesday night. AEW is not even worth watching. Billy Gunn boys are annoying. That's why they call it the ass boys. I'm so sick of seeing Colt and his brother's name not important will run around there like they run something. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of the Bullet Club making a mockery out of wrestling. It's not even funny. I'm so sick of Jay White walking around with a belt, but he didn't win. While over on SmackDown, where Vince McMahon may not be in total control no more, but you can still tell he's in control. AEW has no leadership. Impact Wrestling has more leadership. I'm sorry, they're no longer Impact. TNA Wrestling has more leadership than AEW. WWE leaderships are Triple H, Vince McMahon, and Nick Khan, who I can't stand right now. Okay, Bruce Pritchard. Then it don't matter how old he is. It don't matter how old he is or how old he thinks, but how old you think he is. JR is perhaps the best commentator of all times, and you delegate to him one match on your show. One match. I still say it to this day. You put JR and Tony Schiavone together on a whole show, I guarantee you they'll outdo any commentating team alive. Where on WWE, Michael Cole has been used so much where you're sick of hearing him. Pick a show to put him on. Put him on Raw, put him on SmackDown. Really don't matter to me. One second, y'all. AEW is just atrocious, and you're oh crap. What now? Uh, is nerve blind? No, not nerve. It's a pain in the butt to watch. And that's my rant on AEW, and that's what I'm going to leave it at right now. Now we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about commentators. In every company, you have the villain commentator and you have the babyface commentator. You have the commentators who know the hoes, who know the moves, who knows the move sets, who's been rusty and stuff like that. You know that. They know the move set, they know the whole set, they know the history of the wrestling, they know the history of the matches and stuff like that. That's who they are. Well, in professional wrestling, you have to how can I say this? In professional wrestling, sometimes there's two babyface commentators, and sometimes there's two heel commentators. Then there's a babyface in the middle, and there's a heel and a guy who is neutral. There needs to be a balance when it comes to commentating. And when I mean balance, there needs to be a balance, because if there's not, nobody's going to cover the matches. Nobody's going to cover this. If you're not going to commentate the way it's supposed to be done, then don't commentate. Tonight, the WFCW presents Evil Intentions. Starts at 8 o'clock tonight. That's in 4 hours. And tonight's show is promising to be one of the best shows they put on. Tonight's show is going to be one of the best it's going to put on. The commentating team on there is going to be this. And I encourage everybody who's commentating tonight, do your job and call the match. After the match, you can make your jokes, you can do all this and do all that. But call the match to the best. Okay? The master of the mat will be doing commentating tonight. And I will be calling the show. But to the rest of the commentator, do your job. Call the show. Don't be afraid. Call the matches for what it is. In professional wrestling, there's a heel, there's a baby face. Some of it is not to be taken personally, not to be taken hardcore. If you take it personally because something he said got on your skin, then you're in the wrong business. This business and the professional wrestling business, you got the best commentators in the world. Monday Night Raw, you saw JR and Jerry King Lawler get together and change the foundation of how commentating is supposed to be. Then you had over on WCW, you had Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan, who was absolutely gold together. Then you had Eric Bischoff, Steve Mongo, McMichael, and Bobby Heenan. And I still don't know to this day why Steve McMichael was even a commentator. For the life of me, I don't know why they made him a horseman. But he was a horseman. He was a horseman. They made him a champion before they made Chris Benoit champion. And he was a horseman before McMichael was. But before he was a wrestler, he was a commentator. I guess he figured coming off the football field, I'm going to be a commentator. Wasn't that good? Wasn't that good in the ring either? Mongo was that wrestler that all he had was power. About 1% of defense. And they made this man the U.S. champion. He can always say, well, I was a United States champion. Yeah, you was. Don't know why, but you was. Don't understand why, but he was. He can also say he's a 4 horseman. He can also say that he beat Jeff Jarrett for the U.S. Championship. He can also say he dropped Mean, he dropped Barbarian, he dropped Scotty Riggs, he dropped Hammer, he dropped Riggs, all on their head. You can also say at Road Wild 95, he went out there and single-handedly eliminated Jeff Jarrett and Dean Malenko in a tag team elimination matchup. Why? Because at the time, Kevin Sullivan was writing the booking, and Kevin Sullivan had a personal issue with Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit couldn't get, as long as Kevin Sullivan was doing the booking, Benoit wasn't getting no championships. Benoit wasn't getting no wins. If he was in a tag team match and he was going to win, his partner was getting the credit. Benoit would do 90% of the work, but Mongo would come in and hit that Mongo spike, and that's it. Just like Disco Inferno. Guy came out, started dancing Disco Fever, crap like that, and he went on to be a two-time TV champion. Then later, he got his skills improved, and he became a cruiserweight champion. Then when they was in Germany, him and Alex Wright became a tag team champion. Okay? And WCW is known for giving belts to the stupid people. They gave a belt to a chair. La Parker and a chair became WCW tag team champions. And no, I'm not exaggerating. La Parker and a chair became WCW tag team champions. And it was funny because they only held that belt for one day, and that was a live show. Buff Bagwell's mama is a former tag team champion. The guy named Oklahoma is a former cruiserweight champion, and he was way under the cruiserweight limit. I mean, WCW did some crazy things, and I mean crazy things. Ralphus is a former hardcore champion, believe it or not. It's like when WCW was about to go under, they did some stupid things. David Arquette, former world heavyweight champion. And you heard me right. The guy who was in Scream 1, Scream 2, and Scream 3 is a former heavyweight champion. And he pinned Eric Bischoff for that championship. Karl Malone on Body Slam Hulk Hogan. Jay Leno had a headlock on Hulk Hogan. Jay Leno dropped an elbow on Hulk Hogan. But WCW did this and thought it was fun. But yet, when Dennis Rodman first came there, Rodman wanted to work with the Giant, a.k.a. the Big Show, and Lex Luger. Okay? People don't know this. When Luger wrecked, when he put him in the torture rack, it broke Rodman's ribs in 3 places. Broke his rib, and when I mean broke, it from what Eric Bischoff says in his book. When Luger put him in the rack, it broke his ribs instantly. Thank God it was the off season and he had time to heal. Yeah, but it broke his ribs instantly. Then when Luger started doing that stupid crap with him, it broke 2 more ribs. WCW for you. ECW. The madness behind ECW, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was the mastermind behind ECW for so long. And Paul Heyman, ECW, the only commentator they had was Joey Styles. And if anybody remember Joey Styles' famous line was, "Oh my God." That was Joey Styles, the one-man commentator in ECW. They didn't make any bonehead moves, but they made smart moves. Even though ECW didn't have a corporate setup like WCW and WWE, but everybody knew Paul Heyman ran ECW. Paul Heyman was the booker, was the writer, was everything in ECW. Paul Heyman is that talented where before there was an ECW, Paul Heyman was known as Paul Lee Dangerously, and he managed the Dangerous Alliance. Now, every member of the Dangerous Alliance, with the exception of Bobby Eaton, is a Hall of Famer. Medusa, Larry Zbyszko, Rick Rude, Stunning Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, all Hall of Famers. And you look at the array of talent Paul Heyman has managed since then. Brock Lesnar, don't like him at all. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman was behind the creation of the Shield. Paul Heyman is the mastermind. Okay, Paul Heyman was the reason. Okay, CM Punk was so good in WWE. Paul Heyman was also the reason that that Brock Lesnar is the way he is. Don't like him. Can't stand Brock Lesnar. Can't stand him at all. I just don't like him. We're going to go to another subject because I can't stand the Brock Lesnar. But the point I'm making, ECW had one-man commentator, Joey Styles. WCW, the NWA, whatever you want to call that self, they had two commentators. They had the greatest commentator of all time, and everybody's, in my opinion, is Jim Ross. But before there was Jim Ross, there was Gordon Solie. And Gordon Solie was the best on the commentating booth. But in my opinion, you put a wrestler with a commentator, a non-wrestler, you got magic. Bobby Eaton, Gorilla Monsoon, best commentating team ever. Vince McMahon, Jerry Lawler, best commentating team ever. Jerry Lawler, JR, the greatest of all time. Tony Schiavone, Bobby Eaton, the greatest of all time. The commentating team now, Wade Barrett, Michael Cole, they're all right. Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick's the future. Corey Graves is the most unbiased commentator there is. He does not care. He will turn on you in a heartbeat. Kevin Patrick, this guy has come a long way from NXT. Now he's on the main roster, and I give him all the respect. Being under the tutorship of Michael Cole has done him well. And Michael Cole, even though they are running Michael Cole raggedy, this guy came in as a backstage announcer. He sat under the tutors of Jim Ross. And look at Michael Cole now. Look at Michael Cole now. Michael Cole is one of the best commentators there ever is. Booker T, when he first started doing commentator, Booker T was god-awful. And I mean, he was god-awful. You had to turn the subtitles on just to see what the heck Booker T just said. Whenever he would say something, you were like, what did he just say? Oh, you got to rewind it back to make sure you heard what you heard. Look at him now, one of the best. In the WFCW, Killer Kid Boo was the only commentating team for one time. Now we got a bunch of them. For 2 years, he commentated by himself. Sometimes this guy by the name of the end-all be-all would fill in and be a commentator, but still. Okay? And others would fill in, but Killer Kid Boo was the commentating team, the whole WFCW. The point I'm making is this. As commentators, you're going to call the match. Stay focused on the match. Don't worry about what's going on. You have to call the match. You have to call them down. As the master of the match, I give the history of the match. I give the history of the championship. I give the history of what's been done in the ring because that's I feel that that's what I feel is needed at the time. I will never apologize if people get offended. You get offended about anything I say, apparently hit you hard. Like I said on my last show, and this is for the WFCW, AEW, NXT, WWE, TNA, and whoever else. If you're not here to be the top dog, why are you here? Why are you in the wrestling business? Why are you in the virtual wrestling business? You can change your character 50 million times. You can change your character's outfit 50 million times. But if that character ain't no good, why are you here? You can vacate your championship all you want. You can walk around and call yourself, or you can walk around and you can walk to the ring in all white. You can walk to the ring in polka dots. You can walk to the ring in all black with a crow face on and call yourself this and call yourself that. But if you're just here to be the opening match, the mid-card matches, now don't get me wrong. The mid-card matches sometimes and the opening match sometimes steal the entire show. But if you're not here to be in the main event and steal the show, why are you here? Why are you wasting your time being in the opening act where you could take that opening act skills and go to the main roster and go to the main event? What are you here for? To be number 2 or number 1? You can change your character 50 billion times. It ain't going to change the fact that if you're not main event quality, you're not main event quality. You don't wait for nothing to be handed to you in this business. You go out and you take it. There's a guy in the WFCW. He calls himself the end-all be-all. And he can talk himself into any match, into any championship match. Why? Because he has the gift of gab. Then there's a guy, well, it's actually me, the master of the match, who's on the commentator booth. And he can drum up. He's a walking wrestling encyclopedia, which is me, by the way. But that other guy, the end-all be-all, he can talk himself into a match. I happen to go on the WFCW page, and I see him calling out champions all the time. Then you got people mad because he actually get the matches. How? Because he talked himself into a championship match. You can't get mad at him. Well, you can, but you really can't. What's next? Are you going to stay match 1, mid-card, co-main event, or are you going to move into the main event? Because sometimes the women outdo the men in WFCW. I'm just saying. So everybody, tonight is Evil Intentions in the WFCW. It starts at 8 o'clock. It's on Con Squad 7 channel. Tune in to that show tonight. It should be an awesome show. This Thursday, I think we're doing 3 shows this week. Because if I'm not mistaken, we have a show tomorrow night as well. And we have open fight night Thursday. And this Saturday is the show versus show. So when you find out, let me know before I close out my show. Because I'm pretty sure we have 3 shows this week. I think tomorrow night's show is I don't know what tomorrow night show is, but we're gonna find. I'll let y'all know. Keep you posted. All I'm saying is this: changing your attire doesn't do nothing if you don't change your move setting. You want to be the top? Be the top. You want to be the best? Be the best. Like I said before, there's a guy in the WFCW. He calls himself the end all be all, the most hated in the WFCW. Question and people don't like him. People can't stand him. I don't really think he cares, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. You come in this business. One second. Yeah, you either gonna make an impact or you're not. And that's it. That's my theory. That's my thoughts. That's how I feel about it. My thoughts and my views are how I feel. Nobody else gotta feel the way I feel about it. But I just feel like this: if you're not here, if you're not in any company, TNA, AEW, WWE, WFCW, if you're not on TV every week, if you're not in the virtual, if you're not doing it to be the best, why are you here? Why are you wasting your owner's time? Why? Because you could be doing something else with your time instead of wasting people's time. Oh, I'm sorry, what the heck? Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the Master of the Map. Thank you all who's been watching. And if anybody has anything, again, tonight at 8 o'clock um, is the WFCW's Evil Intentions. It starts at 8 o'clock. So I would give you the card, but I don't know the card. If anybody's watching from the WFCW, post a card in there so I can run it down, please. Give everybody the rundown of the card tonight because I really don't know the card. So I'm gonna give them a minute to post a card before I end the show. If they don't know the card, just let me know you don't know it. Tonight should be a good night. All right, do that. Tonight's gonna be an awesome night. I'm pretty sure they have 3 shows tonight. I think they got one tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Because I know Thursday is open fight night, where, like I said, the end all be all battles a guy named Tyrone, and that's been a rivalry for some time. It's gonna be a good match. Also, it's gonna be a war games there where you're gonna see the Savage Society. I don't know what's so savage about that society. Going to go against the Grimwalkers in war games. Also, this Saturday is the show versus show, and the main event is War Games, where 3 of the 8 competitors will make history in that matchup. Where it's going to be the seed giver, 21, and the end all be all will all make history. As a matter of fact, the end all be all has been in every War Games match to date. He's gonna make history in his own right. I mean, that end all be all guys are making history left and right in the WFCW. I'm telling you. He might want to change his name to the history making end all be all. I'm just saying. That guy's making history all over the place. The first man to be in every war games. Woo! I'm telling you, that's it. That's something special. They better keep it. They better keep that man. The first man to be in every war games. Don't matter if he won them or not, but he's been in every war games. That says a lot. It says how good that guy is. I'm just saying, people. Making history over here. The first man to be in every war games in WFCW history. Nobody else can say that, but the end all be all. That guy's something special. But I'm gonna give them time, see if the card has been posted. If it's not been posted, that's understandable. And they're probably still working on it so I'm giving like 5 more minutes. Once she comes back and let me know if the card has been posted or not, if not, we're gonna end the show in about 5 minutes. Until then, you guys enjoy the theme music of oh wait. I think my speaker unlinked itself again. There we go.
We are the nation of domination.
Well, look.
Nation of domination.
Tonight is the WFCW presents Evil Intentions. It starts at 8 o'clock. If you want to find out more, go to the Facebook channel, the WFCW, and the card should be posted. The shows for this week should be posted as well. And tune in tonight on Con Squad 7's channel, and it should be an awesome show. I would love to hold on. Let me check. Let me see if they posted a card. If they did, they didn't. If they didn't, that's fine too. But let me see. Hold on. No card has been posted as of yet. So let me see, can I find the old card for you so that way I can let you know what's the card. Give me 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get back to that. Trying to find a card. Hold on. Okay, well, I would like to thank you. Okay, well, I'm gonna give you 2 cards. I'm gonna give you the show versus show cards, and I'm trying to find the Evil Intention cards that was on here. Well, it's not on here. So here's the evil. I'm sorry. Here's the show versus show card for this coming Saturday. It's the show versus show, champion versus champion, the North American champion versus the U.S. champion, Red Savage, the North American champion, the United States champion won. They're gonna go head to head. Jerry versus Andrew. Jerry's the TV champion. Andrew's the big beefy men champion. Savage Ron versus John Senior. John Senior is the hardcore champ. Wait a minute, what? Okay. John Sr. is the hardcore champion. Savage Ron is the Intercontinental champion. Jacob and Caleb, the tag team champions, over on Thursday. Battle Darius and Jimmy, the tag team champions, on Tuesday. 10 men over the top rope battle royal, and 10 women over the top rope battle royal to see who it will be our new WFCW legacy women's legacy champion. Maddie versus Tatalia, whatever that woman name is, Tatalia. Well, I can't pronounce her name. If Maddie wins, if Maddie is champion, this will be a title match. If not, Jay New versus the Big OC, the world champions of each show versus each other. Jay New's the world champion on Thursday. The Big OC is the world champion on Tuesday. And War Games, it will be 21. Keith, Willie, and Butch represent Thursday night Barbarians versus Zoom Dog, Elliot, Tay, and Anthony, and Tuesday night Gladiators. This is the show versus show card. The main event is War Games. And it should be, if the card is updated, they will tell you the card is subject to change. I am looking for the Evil Intentions card, the one that was put up here beforehand. I can't find it. Give me 1 second. I gotta stop. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm trying to find. This is Tuesday night card. So, anyway, still can't find that card. All right, whatever. Well, it was an old Evil Intentions card, and it's not up here anymore. Currently, the person who was in charge of Evil Intention took the card down. So hopefully tonight we will get to the bottom of this and find out what the card is, because I'm still searching on the WFCW page and I cannot find the Evil Intentions card. I'm gonna search 5 more minutes, and not 5 more minutes. I'm search a few more things, and here we go. The Evil Intentions card. This was posted October the 4th. Card is subject to change. This may not be the entire card tonight, but card is subject to change. Evil Intentions card, a fatal 6-way. Maddie versus Toya versus V versus Akari versus Baby D versus Tata in a Hell in a Cell. 90 Zoe and Jay New versus Maliki and Drew in the Scream Rules and Texas Tornado match. Willie versus the Big OC in the Last Man Standing. Tay versus Jimmy in a 15-minute Iron Man match. Red Savage versus Keith. Red Savage versus I forgot that guy's name. And Keith in a submission match for the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental title. A mystery opponent versus Hunter in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. Elliott versus Warren in a 2-out-of-3 falls match. And Darius versus a mystery opponent in a TLC match. This is the card that was posted on October the 4th. Tonight is Evil Intentions, and the card is subject to change. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first here on the Master of the Mat. This is the Master of the Mat. I will be doing commentating tonight. And to everybody who comes on, do your job. Do your job and call the matches. All right. This is the Master of the Mat. My views, my thoughts of wrestling. And thank you for subscribing. I will be back this Sunday. This Sunday to give my review on Crown Jewel. And yeah, till then, y'all be blessed, be easy, and I'll see y'all again Sunday. Now, enjoy the music of the Bazaar. Before we go, enjoy the music of the Bazaar one. Goldust.